Y'all, is that a chicken parm taco? The internet is weird, so that's what we're calling it, but hush. I gotta. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are testing a recipe that has caught my eye, another one on social media. This time again from AllRecipes, Nicole over there. She's always in my feed, whether that's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, here on YouTube in Shorts, and her stuff always looks so fun and easy. And the things that I've tried have turned out great. So today we are testing her recipe, or the AllRecipes recipe, which I think is a viral thing that they're already testing themselves, for what's it called? Chicken Parm smashed tacos. Now, chicken parm and tacos, I know those don't really go together, so please don't shoot the messenger. I'm from San Diego. I understand the importance of the history and what is a taco, right? So again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just relaying the recipe, and it does look good though, I gotta tell you. So this is one of those smashed tacos where you put the meat on the tortilla and fry that in a skillet. So she doesn't obviously make hers low carb, but I think with a couple of changes, this is going to be an easy switcheroo to make low carb. So let's find out. Let's see if it works. This should be a short video, although every time I say that, it is not. So enough yakking. Let's get cracking on these chicken parm smashed tacos. Come on. Okay, so this recipe has a couple of quick things that we need to make ahead of time to get ready to do the quick work of actually cooking this taco. It's going to cook pretty quickly, just 4 or 5 minutes. This actually has a couple of components, and the one of those, because we're going to put the meat in, make a crispy, crunchy fried chicken taco, basically, fold it up, and inside is a caprese salad. Now, okay, I realize, please don't get mad that I'm using the word taco. I'm just using their nomenclature for this. You can call it what you want, call it a wrap, call it a fold, call it whatever, but it's chicken parm. So the inside, a little Italian-inspired caprese salad. So let's get started on that now. There's just a couple of things. I'll put the ingredients down below. I don't normally give ingredients for recipes, but I'm already changing this up already. So we need some diced tomatoes. Let me get this out of the way. We need some diced tomatoes. I'm using Aroma tomato, about 3/4 of a cup. That might be slightly more. And in her recipe, in the video, she uses a little bit of red onion, but it doesn't make it into her list of ingredients. I don't know if that's just a typo on their part, but I'm going to put some red onion, not much. That's probably about 1/4 of a cup. Those are potent, I can tell you from when I cut them. So I don't want that to just blow my face off, right? So to this, we're also going to add in some fresh mozzarella cheese. This is just cubed mozzarella cheese. This is the fresh stuff. This is not the grated. You want something that's right soft and springy, and that is fresh stuff. To this, we're going to add in a little bit of she calls for, this is another thing that didn't make it into her recipe. She says when she's assembling this to use olive oil and and vinegar, but she doesn't tell you how much vinegar. I actually went to the AllRecipes website to find out. It was a tablespoon of red wine vinegar and a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil to that. So we're going to do that. Get out of the way. Okay, this also has some salt and pepper. She said about 1/4 teaspoon of each, but obviously this is just to taste. And that was a 1/2 cup of mozzarella cheese. And again, I'm going to put all this written recipe down in the video description below. It'll also be in the pinned comment. And to this, we're going to need a little bit of fresh basil. And I've had this sitting out waiting on me to film for so long, they kind of got a little wilty. So I'm just going to give this a quick chop. Okay. All right, and just give this a quick mix. So obviously, this is our filling, because normally where you'd put meat in the middle of a taco, in a smashed taco, the meat is built into the shell itself, into the tortilla. And that's going to be one of the other things that we obviously change about this recipe. So, all right, that's all mixed up, ready to go. That is pretty, y'all. I'm going to put this to the side, and we're going to move on to the second little thing we have to make before we get totally started. Be right back. Okay, so the other couple of things we need to make quickly is just a plate with some eggs in it. So we're going to do an egg wash. so that we can then dredge in what she calls for panko breadcrumbs, seasoned panko, and some Parmesan cheese. Now, obviously, we can't use panko, not if we're trying to eat low carb. So, like a lot of people, I'm using pork rinds. So pork panko, you can buy it already made like this, but you pay a premium for that. So I just take a little bag of pork rinds and put it in the food processor and whiz it up just a little bit. Because he said seasoned, I also added about a half teaspoon of Italian seasoning to this. This is a cup of pork panko, breadcrumbs, I guess you could say. And to that, she said about a quarter of a cup of Parmesan cheese. This is a little bit more than that, so I'm just gonna, I grated slightly more than I needed because we're gonna use some of it for some other things later. So this just needs to be combined, and this is gonna be our dredge. And once that's mixed up, I didn't add any salt to this because obviously the breadcrumbs, our quote unquote breadcrumbs, are going to be salty. Pork rinds are salty. So this goes in a shallow plate. Just mix that up good with your fingers. And if you don't like pork, you can't eat pork for whatever reason, they also make chicken skin, like chicken pork rinds, but they're chicken rinds, I guess you could, chicken skin. And you can do the same thing with that. And I would imagine if you're clever, you can probably also just find some almond flour or another alternative for this. Now, also we just need a plate. There's some of my breadcrumbs on there. We just need a plate with 2 eggs that we're gonna just lightly beat for our egg wash. Okay, I'm just gonna move these off because now we're gonna deal with the raw chicken and I don't want any of this near my raw stuff. So I'm gonna clean up and meet you right back here. Okay, so now we're just gonna quickly get our meat together. This is a pound of ground chicken breast. And any kind of ground chicken will do. If it doesn't have, if it's not all breast, it'll have a little bit more fat in it, but that never hurt anybody. For some reason on the Instagram video, the comments are filled with people just so disgusted that this is ground raw chicken. I don't know how people cook in their daily life without getting your hands dirty. You know, I mean, it may not be the prettiest thing, but it's meat. You know, I just don't understand the nice nastiness of, my grandmother would say, you're being nice nasty. Meaning, why are you being so particular and persnickety about raw meat? It's just raw meat. This ain't that big of a deal. We ain't gonna eat it raw. But anyway, so that's a pound of raw ground chicken. To this, we're gonna add in, she said, a quarter of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and you can use the jarred stuff. I know that a lot of people are like, that's powder, that's sawdust. Well, no, it ain't. It's got some cellulose in it, but cellulose is not sawdust. But I'd used some pre-shredded, just Parmesan cheese, and then ran that also through the food processor real quick to get a nice finely grated Parmesan cheese. It's a little more towards the fresh side of things. To this, we're going to add in a little bit of garlic. Yes, I used garlic. That was a quarter of a cup. I actually used a slightly more. That's probably a third of a cup of Parmesan, and that's a teaspoon of garlic. And then to this, she said a half teaspoon of salt, quarter teaspoon of pepper, and she called for a quarter of a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I bumped that up to a half teaspoon because when I put a quarter teaspoon in there, I was like, well, I don't even, what's the even point of that? That didn't even look like enough to scare a cat. So, all right, so we're just gonna mix this up and get all of this combined. And then this is gonna be our chicken mixture that we're going to smash on to our taco. So you can do this with your hands. She certainly did, and I'm not above it, but we're also going to be using this fork to apply it to our low carb tortillas. So let me get this mixed up. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to wash up, get cleaned up, get my skillet out with oil, heat that up, and we're going to be making us some smashed tacos. Chicken parm ones, to be exact. Meet you right back here. Okay, so we're ready to make these smashed tacos. I've got my skillet out. Going to put it up to about medium-high heat, but we need to discuss the tortillas. Obviously, she's using a soft tortilla, a flour tortilla. lots of carbs. So you can obviously find your own, make your own. I'm going to use a product that's commercially available. Now, she said these should be street tacos, about 4 inches. And I did find some 4-inch tacos, street tacos that are zero carb. This is the Guerrero brand. I've never had them, but we're going to try them. I'm going to try them later. They're Chipotle. That's the only flavor I could find. I couldn't find just plain in my stores, and I went to 2. So this is what she's talking for. She said this recipe makes 8 of these little street tacos, and while that's peepa, those are cute. I think you can do the same thing. Instead of using street tacos that are 4-inch, you can use a 6-inch taco that's just a regular soft taco like this. These are a brand I've also never tried. This is Olay, and it's the Extreme Wellness Keto. And I've had multiple people in my comments say, you've got to try the Extreme Wellness, because I always use the Carb Master or one of those other brands. And I've had multiple people say, try these. So we're going to do that today. So you can do it with 8 street taco, 4-inch street tacos, or I bet 6 of the regular soft tacos that are about 6 inches. So we're going to do that. I'm going to heat this skillet up, get it ready to go. I'll tell you also, she mentions using 2 tablespoons of oil, and one of the biggest comments, most frequent comments in her comment section was, that's way too much oil. So we're just going to spray a little bit of oil once it gets to 10. All right, so while we are making this easy and fast and hopefully delicious meal, that leads me to today's sponsor, Home Chef. Home Chef is a meal delivery service that is actually ranked as the best value meal delivery service and the tastiest meal delivery service. I have come to like their oven-ready meals, which makes cleanup super easy. It's no mess, no fuss, easy to prep, and you literally just throw the metal tin away at the end of the meal, so cleanup is a breeze. So on weeknights when you are just trying to get anything onto the table, that is a stellar thing to have in the refrigerator ready to go. I also like their Fresh Start selections. These are carb-conscious, calorie-conscious meals that make getting a better-for-you meal easier than ever on the table. I particularly loved this week's selection of the fuss-free fig mostarda chicken. It's a beautiful creamy mustard and fig sauce on top of a crispy chicken breast. Also, the sheet pan cheesy meatloaf was another great selection that I had this week. It has really made life easier. If you have never tried a meal delivery service, Home Chef is a great place to start. Like I said, it is ranked as the tastiest and the best value. So right now, if you use the link here on the screen in the QR code or in the video description below and use my code HLC50, you will get 50% off your first box and free shipping. So it's a great way to try out this delicious meal delivery service that has kept me on track with their carb-conscious Fresh Start meals. So thanks so much, Home Chef, for sponsoring this video. Be sure to click the link. It's in the video description below, and just use my code HLC50. You'll get 50% off of that first box and free shipping. All right, let's get back to the recipe. Come on. So now comes the dirty work. I'm just going to do a couple of these at first, just so if my technique is wrong, I haven't ruined more than a few of these. So we're going to take some of this raw chicken, and this is where everybody gets squeamish, but everything's going to be okay. And we're just going to spread this out. Now, I don't want to get this on my board where we're working, so I'm using a piece of parchment paper and trying not to get any of the chicken on or near the board. We want not a thick layer of this, I don't think. We want a manageable layer. I will say that some people also mentioned that they weren't even using low-carb tortillas. They mentioned that their chicken fell off while they were cooking it, and people said, you know, just be more careful when you're flipping it. Use a spatula instead of tongs like she does. But they also said make sure your tortillas are at room temperature. A lot of people apparently store their tortillas in the fridge, and if you do it cold, the meat will fall off in a little sheet. But also they said just stick it back on there and build your taco around it. It's gonna be fine. Tastes good. So just get a thin layer on this, and then I'm gonna move this raw chicken out of the way because we got a dredge and all that good stuff. All right, get out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to let this come to temperature. Again, she called for about 2 tablespoons of oil in that. I'm just going to use my sprayer with some avocado oil in there and just get a nice, decent layer. So obviously we're going from here into the egg wash and then gently press it down into this. directly into the skillet, 4 minutes on the meat side, and then flip it over for 1 more minute on the tortilla side. So I'm going to do that. It looks like with this larger size, I'm only going to get one in my 10-inch skillet here. So just plan accordingly for yourself. So get us some oil going. Take this guy here. And I'm just going to do it with my fingers. Let it, any excess drip off. Come right into here. And then this is going right in the pan. All right, so let me wash my hands, and I'm just going to let that live by itself there for 4 minutes, and I'll meet you back here. I'm ready to taste this. It turned out great. I've got the other one on the fire now. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time. So this turned out pretty good. We just got to get it to fold. And I will say that her temperature, she said to cook it at medium high. Nope. That may be fine for breadcrumbs, but the pork rinds can't take that temperature. Medium or maybe slightly off of medium. So honestly, from here, she just came in with this as the filling, held it up like this, used her spoon, and that looks really good. I got to figure out I have not run the macros on this yet, so I'll pop this up here with the macros. But y'all, is that a chicken parm taco? I'll have to get a picture with another one. It's still real hot. But you know me. Let's see what we think about it. I might take a small bite. Whew, it's so hot I can't touch it. Yes. Dang. Oh. Fantastic. Hold on. I'm so excited I'm gonna burn my other one. That is superb. I don't know why we're using historically Mexican names for a caprese thing, but it's the smash taco thing, and the internet is weird, so that's what we're calling it. But hush. I gotta. Okay, y'all. Amazing. I ate that whole thing while we were sitting here waiting on this to come off the fire. I never end my videos by continuing to cook and dress and plate the meal, but that was fantastic. Like I said, I will have the nutritional information. If I haven't already put it up, I'll do that here. Hey guys, Editing Wes here, just popping in to give you the nutritional information. I was able to get 8 of these. If you use the 6-inch soft tortillas, I'm using the Extreme Wellness by Olay. If you do make the smaller street tacos that are 4 inches in size, you could probably get 10 of those, maybe even more. But if you make the 6-inch size and you make 8 of them, one of the tacos is 207 calories, 11 grams of fat, 21 grams of protein. You've got a total carb count of 10 grams, 7.3 grams of that is fiber. So for each taco, it's only 2.7 grams of net carbs. Obviously, you could keep your oven on really low warm. If you're doing these in batches, maybe put it on a wire rack and let them stay warm, really low oven while you're finishing the rest of these. If you're doing the smaller ones, you can get more of them in a pan than you can with this size, but that's a pretty good size. You would have a little bit of a trouble, I think, trying to get this to fold if they were much smaller than that. So yeah, chicken parm smash tacos, whatever you want to call it. go make them. Go make this now. My version of this, the recipe will be in the video description. So there you have it, folks. I say it every time. These videos are a way for me to maintain my low carb way of eating, and looking in the end of that camera as often as I can helps keep me honest. So thank you for coming along on the journey. Please follow me over on Facebook and on Instagram. Talk a lot more frequently and more freely over there. I'm just Wes Shoemaker, Highfalutin Low Carb at both of those places. So if you're not already there, look me up. A lot goes on in both of those spaces. The best thing you can do to help me out is hit the like button and the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber, make sure you click the bell so you're notified when I release a new video. Lastly, thank you to my rock stars, my Patreon members, and my channel members. Channel members, their names are already going to be scrolling over here. You see their names at the end of every video. If you want to be included in that, become a channel member. It's right below this video as a place to join, or go over to patreon.com/highfalutin low carb. Patreon, I think of it as the tip jar for the internet. It lets people like you who enjoy what people like me do here on YouTube. You can give $1 or $2 a month just to keep the train on the tracks, and you'll be notified as soon as I release a new video, because sometimes YouTube doesn't do that, as you know. So I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, today is a great day to have a great day. Bye-bye.